Turkish forces near Marseille, northeast of Afrin, Syria. Turkish troops and allied Syrian rebels so far appear to have made limited gains. An estimated 5,000 people have been displaced by clashes between Turkish-led forces and Kurdish fighters in northwestern Syria, the UN says. The civilians have fled communities near the border since Turkey launched an offensive to drive a Kurdish militia out of the Afrin region on Saturday. Some are reported to have been prevented from crossing into territory controlled by the Syrian government. The UN said it was ready to deliver aid to 50,000 people in Afrin if required. World powers involved in the Syrian conflict, meanwhile, called on the Turkish military to exercise restraint because it risks escalating the country's humanitarian crisis. Turkey's president has vowed to crush the People's Protection Unit's YPH militia, which controls Afrin and more than 400 kilometers of Syria's northern border. He says it's an extension of the banned Kurdish Workers' Party, PKK, which has fought for Kurdish autonomy in southeastern Turkey for 3 decades. The YPH denies any direct organizational links to PKK, an assertion backed by the US, which has provided the military and allied Arab fighters with weapons and air support to help them battle the jihadist group Islamic State (IS) in Syria. Turkish troops and allied Syrian rebels so far appear to have made limited gains since the air and ground offensive began on Saturday. On Tuesday, the Turkish state-run Anadolu News Agency reported that rebels had captured the strategic village of Hemam in northwestern Afrin and had begun allowing civils to return to 8 already liberated villages and rural areas. YPG sources told the Kurdish Hawar news agency that its fighters had foiled an attempt to seize the village of Gassel Jando, killing many attackers and destroyed an armored vehicle in Oda. Kurdish leaders also invited civilians to take up arms, saying the YPG was ready to receive all those who wish to defend of Afrin and provide them with weapons. The UN says it's deeply concerned by the fighting and has warned that an estimated 323,000 civilians in Afrin are at risk. About 126,000 of them had already been displaced before this Turkish offensive and now face further afield. Iraq Kurds protest against the Turkish assault on Afrin in the Kurdish-controlled Iraq city of Erbil, 23 January 2018. Iraq Kurds protest against the Turkish assaults in the city of Erbil on Tuesday. A UN report is out on Tuesday afternoon states local sources as reporting that as Monday, an estimated 5,000 people from the border communities of Bilbil, Shankal, Edmanli, Balalköy, and Ali Bakki had fled to central parts of Afrin. The UN warned that their freedom of movement was restricted not only by the hostilities, but also by the local Kurdish authorities' decision on Saturday to close exit points between the enclave and government-held areas of Aleppo province. Some families had managed to leave Afrin through unofficial routes, but were reportedly prevented from proceeding at government checkpoints, it added. We have been preparing for a large-scale response depending on the needs of the civilian population, spokesman Stephen Dujarric told reporters. We cannot stress enough the need for all parties involved to protect civilians, to protect civilian infrastructure, and to respect international law. How many people have died? Neither side has released much information about fatalities, making the death toll difficult to gauge. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, a UK-based monitoring group, reports that 25 Syrian rebels and 26 Kurdish fighters have been killed so far. Hills resident Feyziye Demir cries after a rocket fired from Syria hits her house on 23 January 2018. Civilians living in southern Turkey are reported to have been killed by Turkish rocket fire. It also says 24 civilians have been killed, 20 in Turkish air and artillery strikes and 2 as a result of Kurdish fire. Turkey has denied killing civilians, saying it only targeted combatants. What's the background of the offense? Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan ordered the assault of an Afrin, dubbed Operation Olive Branch, not only after news reports said the US had begun helping the YPG form a border security force. Media caption: Why is Turkey attracting Syria? Turkey's Prime Minister said it wanted a 30-kilometer deep safe zone along its border inside Syria, which would encompass most of the Afrin enclave. About 10,000 Syrian rebels are reportedly taking part in the offensive, while Turkish officials estimate that there are between 8,000 and 10,000 YPG fighters in Afrin. How have key powers reacted? On Tuesday, U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis said he took very seriously Turkey's legitimate security concerns but urged it to exercise restraint in the military action and the rhetoric. Russia, an ally of the Syrian government that has withdrawn military observers from Afrin and effectively allowed Turkish warplanes to fly over the enclave, called for restraint and respect for Syria's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Politicians in Germany, meanwhile, reacted angrily to Turkey's use of German-made Leopard tanks. The chairman of the Parliamentary Foreign Affairs Committee said Germany should not carry out a planned upgrade of the tanks for its NATO ally. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu shakes hands with U.S. Vice President Mike Pence in Jerusalem.